Welcome to the Voice of Reason Sports Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the show, leave a comment, and click that like button. Well, big win by my Saints. Hey, look, a win's a win. I know it happened against the Giants. I know we're on a 2-game winning streak against the Panthers and then Giants. But you know what? I don't care. A win's a win. I'll take it however it comes.
Hey, you got to play who's on your schedule, man. And y'all in a tough battle right now with Tampa Bay, so you need
exactly
every win.
every win that we can get. But I got to give credit where credit is due. All right. I know I've been trashing the man for the past couple of weeks, but Derek Carr actually had a good game this week. He was on point. He was on time with his passes. He was 23 of 28 for 218 yards. Not anything to run home, to tell mom. It wasn't a barn burner, but it was efficient. It was good. He had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I think he had 1 sack. Not a bad game. Had good running from Elvin. He had 16 carries for 66 yards, and they played a good game on offense. It's the Giants. I get it. But hey, they were on the schedule. You beat whoever they put on the schedule. So, damn it. And Danny, I want to call him Danny DeVito. Tommy DeVito. Yeah.
What I did last week.
Yeah, my defense, they shut him down. I expected the defense to play well against him. Sacked him 7 times. 7 times. Good. The kid held on to the ball to say he got beat up. I got a lot of respect for him. He got beat up. Didn't throw any crazy passes to put his team in a bad position, but he played well. He rushed for 36 yards on 4 carries. Tried to keep him in it, but Saints defense was way too much. And they've been playing well all season long. But finally, they got some complimentary football from the offense, where the offense scored touchdowns. So efficient in the red zone, played well. So I'm happy. And I'm looking forward to Thursday when we play the Rams. But, hopefully.
That's going to be a big game. That's going to be a huge game. Back.
Exactly. And determine who can make the wild card. So it's a matter of now keeping pace with all the wild card teams as well as the division teams, because there's a chance that we can win the division and host a home playoff game. So I'm hopeful we can do that, and I'm hopeful whoever we play in the first round, if we make the playoffs, will put up a good fight. So hopefully things are getting better. I got to see more, and I got to see more against a good team, not against the Panthers, not against the Giants. So real good game. It'll be a good game.
Yeah, man. It was. I mean, y'all was in control from the beginning. I was kind of worried a little bit at first, like, you know what I'm saying? It was like 6-14, like right in that little hang around kind of range. Like in the second half, and I was like, see, they're gonna let them hang around or something stupid gonna happen, you know.
Right.
But then y'all kind of edged away. Y'all kicked up field goal, and then y'all scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter to kind of put it away. And they just couldn't move the ball. I mean, they was having a terrible offensive game. No time possession, no sustained drives.
Right.
They kicked 2 field goals. I mean, they didn't score a touchdown.
Right. Yeah, and it was a couple of there was this one bad play that kept the drive alive for the Giants, where they threw a pass to the tight end, and the defender came to hit him, and it was a textbook tackle where he put his shoulder into his chest, had his head on the side, hit the offensive player on the shoulder, and it was a textbook tackle, and they threw a penalty on the play, unsportsmanlike, 15 yards, and that's how they got that last field goal at the end of the second half. But other than that, the defense was on point. Offense,
wait, you talking about Giants got the field goal?
Yeah, the Giants got the field goal at the end of the half.
Yeah, well, yeah, the end of the first half, right?
End of the first half, end of the first half, and it was mainly set up by that penalty.
Yeah, because I was about to say Giants ain't scored nothing in the second half, so
no, and that's when the Saints
punt in the second half.
Yeah, and it seems that seemed to be when the Saints offense kind of got it together. Right, we only had 7 points in the first half, and it was looking like another one of those games where things just wasn't going right. Derek Carr was still efficient, but we just wasn't, putting it all together to finish off drives or even, get out of bad situations. But I like the fact that we pulled it together in the second half. We put up, 17 points in the second half and finished off drives, which is good. And we had a Jimmy Graham sighting again, which is always good. 2 receptions for 9 yards. Not a lot, but he had a touchdown. So Jimmy
Another
Graham,
touchdown. That's right.
another
He
time.
sure did.
Yeah, yeah.
He
So
sure did. That's like 3 out of 4 weeks, right? Last
no,
4 weeks?
three straight.
3 straight weeks he had a
Yeah,
touchdown.
he had a touchdown, and that's all he's having. Like he's like
Yeah,
got
1 catch for
5.
a touchdown.
Yeah, well, he's got like 5 receptions, and 3 of them are touchdowns on the season.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm
5
sorry. No, that's 4 touchdowns because he had a touchdown against
yeah,
Green
early
Bay
in the season.
early
Yep,
in the
that's
season.
right. Yep,
So
yep,
it's like 6 receptions, 4 touchdowns.
yep, and about 20 yards total.
Right. Like, yeah. But he's 6'8". Why aren't you using this guy in the red zone? I don't get it.
And they're not even jump balls. You know what
Mm-mm.
I'm saying? These are like play action across the middle, like from the 2-yard line touchdowns. Like,
Well,
why
the
aren't you
thing,
why aren't you lining them out wide like you used to
right.
and have them have jump balls?
But you don't even have to do that. He's such a big man. He's wide. And when he goes out for those passes, he's basically boxing out like he's getting a rebound. And the
Yeah.
defender can't get around it. And it's just an easy pass. It's an easy pitch and catch. You don't even have to throw it up high. So
Mhm.
he's just good. He's just a good baller. So, well, Dale, so
Absolutely.
I've talked to some of our listeners, and they said you got some explaining to do.
I mean, what they want me to explain? We lost. We got beat bad. Our offense didn't score. Our defense couldn't stop the run, and that was the main thing. Couldn't stop the run at all. I mean, I haven't seen us have that bad of a run stopping day since like a couple of years ago against the Rams, where we just could not stop. Every time they ran the ball, it seemed like they was running for 5 or 6 yards. They just didn't come out to play. I don't know if I can call this a being flat from winning your quote unquote in season Super Bowl over Philly and making people think you got something because you won 5 games straight and you're averaging 37 points a game. You blew Philly out. If it was too high and mighty and too fat off of that win
Hmm.
to go and handle business when you went to Buffalo. Now, me personally, I thought that we were a much better team than Buffalo. I mean, this was a 7-16, and I don't care what people keep talking about. Oh, they better than their record. No, you are what your record says you are. They didn't have no bit major injuries. Okay, that team is a 7-16. You had no business getting beat like that by a 7-16. I don't care who their quarterback is. I don't care where you play them at. You ain't got no business losing to a 7-16 by 21 points, 3 touchdowns. And you look miserable. I mean, Dak had one of the worst games I've probably seen him have in a long time. How can I think? He's had a couple stinkers, but
Yeah, I'm about to say. I
this,
thought he had
this
one last year.
he did. I think he had one earlier this year. Matter of fact, I think he had. I think he had a stinker earlier this year as well. But this is the love hate relationship of Dak Prescott.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. He would do this. He would go on this 5 game run where he's getting MVP talk.
Hmm.
He's getting accolades from all over. He's leading in all the stats. You look at the stats, he was leading the league in touchdown passes, and then he just falls off the cliff. He does this. This is the problem that I've had with Dak since he's been in the league. When he first got in the league, I already thought it wasn't no business of him starting over Tony Romo. I'm sorry. He just shouldn't have.
What?
No. When Tony Romo got back, he should have been the starting quarterback. You do not go and think you're going to win the Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback.
Well, you wasn't
There's a
going to
reason
win it with
why you
Tony.
what?
You wasn't going to win it with Tony.
Tony's the better quarterback.
I
Period.
dis- I disagree.
How do you disagree?
I,
He was a better thrower of the ball than Dak Prescott as a rookie. You got to be kidding me. There's no way you can argue that. That's not even an argument. He was a better quarterback. He threw the ball better than Dak Prescott when he came in the league. And that's the first time that Tony really had a really, really good running back like that. So that's not even debatable.
that's not
So,
debatable. You don't think Dak
no,
Prescott has had a better career than Tony Romo?
no, he wasn't a better thrower of the football. He was barely throwing it for 200 yards that first year.
And he was a
Uh,
rookie.
Yes, exactly. You got a 10-year vet who the year before was an NFL MVP runner-up. He finally got healthy, and then he even showed you for a little bit because he played that first half in that meaningless last game. Ripped Philly a new one for the first quarter and a half. Looked great. He's finally fully healthy, and then
Whoa,
you
whoa,
go back to the rookie.
whoa. Remind me, remind me. That
Yes,
year that Dak Prescott took over at quarterback for the Cowboys was the year Tony Romo got hurt in preseason, right?
in preseason.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay. And Dak took over, and you guys
yes.
won what, 11, 12 games that season with Dak at quarterback?
13.
13 games that season. You didn't win
Yeah,
13 games with Dak. I mean with Tony prior
that's a
to that.
lie. That's a lie.
You had a 13-win season with Tony Romo.
How about two?
I don't recall
Of course you don't.
that.
None of the Cowboy haters really
I
recall
don't re-
how good Romo really was.
I
They know
don't remember Romo being that good, man.
Romo had two 13-win seasons with the Cowboys.
Who?
Two.
Come on,
Tony
stop
Romo.
it. Like Antonio Romo.
Yes. It's Googleable. You can go look at it.
Uh,
He had two 13-win seasons. One in like, I don't know, like 2008 or 9, whatever. Whenever he took over the year after, they were 13-3,
okay,
right?
maybe 1 year, but I doubt it was 2 years.
Yeah, no, it was 2 years.
Okay, so you're saying that you think the Cowboys would have been better off with Tony Romo at quarterback than Dak Prescott? Okay,
Yes, because there's no you don't when the last time you saw a rookie win the Super Bowl?
when last time I saw a rookie win the Super Bowl?
Yes, win the
Mm,
Super Bowl.
I, I I haven't seen a rookie win the Super Bowl. I've seen a rookie
Thank you.
play
There's a
well in
reason
the
why.
playoffs.
Yes, there's a reason why you don't see rookies win the Super Bowl.
Okay,
You
all
go
right.
you gotta go with your veteran, you know what I'm saying? That show he knows that offense like the back of his hand.
Mm,
If he's fully healthy, you gotta play him. You just have to. You know,
uh,
you shouldn't lose your position based on injury anyway. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? They basically kept Dak in there off of hype. You know what I'm saying?
I
Because
I think when a
we didn't
quarterback is playing well, you don't bench him.
well, we weren't winning because of him. We were winning because Zeke was leading the league in rushing.
Mm.
That's why we were winning.
Okay,
He
and
was
just
throwing he was throwing for 200 yards a game, like 220, 225 a game.
okay, and just to correct things, you were correct. He won. He had a 13-3 season in 2007, his second
Yeah.
season as starter, and
Mhm.
then he went in 2014. I'll give you credit for it. He went 12-3. I guess maybe he
Yeah,
didn't play the
okay.
last game of the
Okay.
season.
Yeah, you know what? That is correct. That is
Okay,
correct. He didn't play
whatever,
it. Yeah.
whatever. I think the
But
Cowboys made the right move. They got your future quarterback.
okay, now we advance 8 years later. Okay?
Uh huh.
Uh, This is what you get with Dak Prescott. You got to realize he's a fourth round pick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He's a fourth round pick for a reason. This is what he did in college. He gave you flashes. He
Mm,
gave you, you know, good games. He gave you real competitive games against good teams.
mm-hmm.
Almost beat Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
that was his claim to fame.
They
Almost
would have.
at,
Yeah.
at Alabama, you know.
They were the number one team for a little while until they
They were
lost
the
to
number
Alabama.
one team.
Mhm.
Exactly. They were the number
Yep.
one ranked team for a while, you know.
Mhm.
So this is what he gives you. He gives you the flashes. But can you name me one Dak Prescott signature game in 8 years?
Signature game in 8 years. What, beating the Eagles? Then would that
I
be a
mean,
signature game?
in the regular season, I
Yeah.
I guess so. What the one he just had?
Yeah. And then wasn't it like y'all had a playoff win last season and had a playoff win in 2018? So I mean, you can count those, right?
I mean, is a signature win against Tom Brady on his last year when they're on the way out to a under 500 team in the
Hey
playoffs?
man, we talked
Is that
about this. We talked about
is
this.
that
He,
is that?
he
I mean, do you throw that in the
I,
signature win?
like I told you against the Giants, we didn't make the schedule. We didn't tell the Giants to start Tommy DeVito.
I get it, but do you call that a signature win?
I would say the fact that y'all have had bad luck in the playoffs.
I mean, we had the same amount of luck we had with Tony Romo. He had 2 playoff wins too. Actually, he had more than that. He had 3 playoff wins, I think. But still, it's the same thing we had with Tony Romo.
Okay, that's true. That's
Same
true.
exact thing we had Tony Romo.
Eh,
But the whole
eh,
the whole point is though, he can't have games like this at times like this, and it always seems like he does this
mhm.
all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like you going in, you got a big game, and just think about it. If we would won that game, Philly loses against Seattle. We're a game up on Philly now
Yep.
for the division.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
A
That's
big
why you
loss.
cannot lose. That's a huge loss now. Now
Yeah.
the loss is even that much bigger. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
but I'm not just blaming Dak. I'm not just blaming Dak, but he is the engineer of points. That's what the quarterback is. That's why you pay them the big money. All right, and
But
that's what they got to do. They got to engineer points. They got to put points up on the board.
I
That's
I
what they
hear
got to
you.
do.
I hear you. But when the Bills have a running back, they ain't been running the ball well all this season. And James Cook, who is James Cook? But James Cook had 25 carries for 179 yards rushing and a touchdown against y'all. And he also had 2 receptions for 42 yards. This one kid ate y'all alive. That ain't on Dak.
Well, hold up. That now, if the defense is out on the field the whole time, that's not on Dak.
Well, I mean, if the defense is on the field the whole time, but look like the defense did a good job against Josh Allen.
I mean, for what he had to do, yes, they still did a good job with us. He didn't complete, he didn't have a high completion percentage, and he did throw
No,
a lot of yards.
no,
But he only had to throw the ball 15 times.
that's all he had to do. I mean, when your running back rushed for 179 yards, I guess not.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he was 11 for 14 or 11 for 15. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? He was 7 for 15. He didn't even throw 50%.
No, he didn't.
Okay, and didn't even throw for 100 yards. So it wasn't that we were just getting killed in the pass and the run. It was just that we were okay. So I'm gonna give the defense that they did not play well against the run. They didn't play against the run.
Mhm.
But or the defense as the offense, you have to have sustained drives. The defense cannot go right back on the field after 4 plays, after 5 plays, and go right back on the field and
That's
then
true.
have to
That's
defend the
true.
run because
Yeah.
they're going to get wore out.
Right.
I mean, it's just what it is. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And they had the ball. It seemed like the whole game. They had the ball 10 minutes more than we. So they had the ball for 35 minutes. Dallas had it for 24:55.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
It's like you have to be able to answer when they strike as the offense. And you can't go into all the way from the first quarter all the way to the fourth quarter with 2 minutes and 44 seconds before you score your next point.
Right. Right.
Okay. You went the whole game without even challenging them to score. You
Right.
know? So
Right.
all around, it was just a bad game. It was bad on special teams. I mean, a field goal
Oh
kick.
yeah.
He made his one kick, but oh my God, the penalties, that was bad. We had a punt, we had a pick block, punt block that we were supposed to have. The guy obviously doesn't know how to block a punt. I mean, he didn't even have to Marv, he could have just walked and ran straight into the ball. He didn't even have to put his hands up. It would have hit him in the gut.
Right.
That's how far back and fast he was back there. But he jumps and the ball goes underneath him. It was the weirdest thing. And then, of course, when he does that, he jumps right into the kicker. He jumps right into the kicker, rough the kicker. They continue to drive and go down for a touchdown. Now,
Is it?
mind you, they only scored 7 points in the first quarter, right? Seven
Uh-huh.
points in the first quarter. And we didn't score at all. Then, when we get the ball in the second quarter, we kick the field goal. They score 7 points. And then we had that issue where we made them extend that drive with the kick roughing the kicker.
Roughing the kicker. Yeah.
Yep. So they extended their drive, they ran on us some more, and then they scored again. Right? Once again, no points. We had 3 points in the first half. Three. You can't do that. I know the
Yeah.
defense did not play great. I know they did not
No, no,
play
I
great.
get what you're
And I'm,
saying.
and I'm not just blaming Dak, period, but you have to sustain some drives. You cannot do that to your defense. Keep
Right.
putting them on the field, putting them on the field every 5 plays, every 6 plays. They back on the field, and they back on the field quick too, because
Right.
you don't have a
You're getting
sustained
3 and
run.
outs. Yeah.
Right, exactly. You had it while they're running the ball, you don't have a sustained run game. You know,
Right.
we had
Right.
Pollard. I think Pollard had like 11 to 12 carries. You know, it just wasn't the same run game. It was just bad all the way around. The coaching was bad. We had a fumble. We made them fumble,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and I'm sitting there the whole time. When I first saw it in real play, I said that is a fumble. He was fumbling going down. Then I'm like, okay, y'all not gonna challenge it. I'm not gonna challenge it. So Diggs has the wherewithal to say, hey, y'all, run the play, hurry up and run the play. He's telling the team to hurry up, run the play. They get on the line and run the play. Then they show the replay showing them fumble. You know what I'm saying? It was just little stuff like
I
that. It was happening all the time.
Right. I just don't understand why coaches, when it's that close, just challenge it. Even though you don't have the video evidence, just challenge it. It's just a timeout.
Just
Is
challenging.
especially if it's in the first half. You're gonna
It's
get
in
more
the
timeouts
first
in the
half.
second half.
It's early in the game. We're
Yeah.
down. You know, we're already down. We need the points. It would have completely changed the game around because they were deep in their own territory. If we would have got that, who knows? We might have been energized and maybe scored a touchdown. Who knows? And that could have changed the whole complexion of the game.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
but bad coaching all the way around. Like I said, the players, D Law had like just a dumb penalty to continue their drive. They was going to kick a field goal. They was about to kick a field goal. It was like third and long. Josh Allen missed the pass. It had an incompletion, but D Law comes with a forearm to Josh Allen's chest. And of course, Josh Allen gonna play it back like
Right.
he's
Right.
dying, like he just blew up.
Right. Right. Right.
He got the penalty. They extended the drive. But what happened? Touchdown. You know, it was just like that. And so, if you're going to get beat on every facet of the game, you deserve to get beat by three touchdowns.
Right. Right. Yeah,
That's how
man.
it is.
It was a tough game for you. I mean, that right there, even though y'all leading the division, you're tied with the Eagles at 10-4. What happens, man? Do you make the division? I mean, how it all plays out in the end? What do you think? Who makes the
Well,
playoffs in the NFC?
mathematically, man, it's okay. So you saying the total playoff picture,
The
or
total
just
playoff picture. Who are the four teams that win the division, and who are the three
okay,
wild card teams you think are that's going to be in the wild card?
okay. So I would say that the division winners, and I'm only going by statistically speaking on what they have remaining, the teams they have remaining. The Eagles, even though they're limping, they've been limping for the last 4 or 5 weeks. And
Yeah.
do not be surprised if they lose to Arizona. I know they played the
Oh,
Giants twice.
stop it, man.
They played the Giants. What are you talking about? Stop it.
Yeah, man, they not losing to Arizona. Come on.
They just lost to Seattle
But
with Drew Lock at quarterback. What are we
I,
talking about?
but they played the Cardinals in Philadelphia. They are not losing. They had to play Seattle. They had to play the Seahawks in Seattle at night. That's a hard place to play in, regardless if it was Drew Lock.
What are we talking about regardless if they're playing Drew Lock? Seattle is not they're not a 10-14.
They are a seven, or they like 7-7.
Yes, they're a 500 team. And they're
Yeah.
playing with their backup quarterback, and their
Okay.
backup quarterback did not know he was playing until like a couple
Until
minutes
game
before
time.
the game.
Yeah.
Exactly. They thought that Geno Smith was playing just for game, so he wasn't even prepared. And he engineered a 92-yard
He
drive
did.
to come back and win the
But
game. It
but
wasn't even like you slipped up and you was trying to catch up.
but wait. That goes both ways. Hold up. That goes both ways. Right? Yeah,
What?
okay. Maybe he didn't know, or maybe he did know. And maybe the Seahawks played that to their advantage by not making an announcement of who was going to start so the Eagles could prepare for him. They probably already knew that Drew Lock was going to start and played that until the end so the Seahawks couldn't prepare for him. I mean, the Eagles couldn't
Okay,
prepare
okay,
for him. That can go
okay.
both ways.
So Drew Lock is their secret weapon, is what you're saying?
No, I just know teams use that as an advantage. I've seen Sean Payton do it, where he wouldn't
Okay, so
announce the
you think they're a
starter
better
until the
team
to
with
the game
Drew
time.
Lock? Regardless, do you think that they're a better team with Drew Lock at quarterback or with
Uh,
Geno at quarterback?
I know they were battling for the position. Geno won, so let's say Geno. They're better with Geno.
Okay, and Geno got the court, and Geno got the contract, right?
I got
Going
it,
into the
but
season.
I'm
So
not disagreeing with you. I just think Seattle's a tough place to play in, and the Eagles are coming from the East Coast to the West Coast to play at night.
did we not see the Panthers go to Seattle and almost beat them with
Uh,
uh
they'll
the
almost
backup
only
quarterback?
they'll almost only counts with horseshoes and hand grenades.
But it was the Panthers, and we talking about how tough it was to play there. The
Dude,
Panthers went to Seattle and beat and with their backup quarter, what not even Bryce
yeah,
Young.
who's better? Who's better than Bryce Young?
Okay, okay, we can say he's better than if you want to say the journeyman is better than Bryce Young, okay.
Yeah, I would I
He,
would
he-
I would go with Andy Dalton over Bryce Young. But I get
okay.
what they're trying to
But
do.
it's the Panthers.
I got
Stop
I
it.
got I got
It is
it.
the Panthers. How many
So
points did they give up to the Panthers
it was a
in
lot. They gave
Seattle?
up like 27 points. But
Yes.
my point is that was a tough game for the Eagles. I was gonna go with Seattle. I told you that. I said, man, if Seattle wasn't on a 4-game losing streak with Geno Smith,
Yes,
I
and none of
would have.
those and you try to tell me none of those losing and let's not forget they got blowed out by Baltimore,
Yeah, they
okay?
did. They
They
did.
got blowed out by Baltimore. So none of those losses was at home? Is that what you trying to say?
I'm not trying to say that. I just know the Seahawks are good at home. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
but it's not impossible to beat. What I'm trying to say is you supposed to be the best team or the second best team in NFC. It shouldn't be hard to beat Seattle with their backup quarterback.
I
It
mean,
just shouldn't be hard.
look, the Eagles are they're in a tough spot. They got a lot of injuries. They had to travel to the West Coast to play the Seahawks. It's just a tough position to be in. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that the Eagles are world beaters, and I'm not saying that they are a bad team. I'm just saying that that's tough to do. I always put that in consideration of who's the home team, how they play at home. I think of those things, and I think of good teams playing at home are tough to beat. That's all I was saying.
So you saying Seattle's a good team?
Remember, I was struggling with that. I was struggling whether or not they're a good team or not. They were on a 4-game losing streak, but I thought they were a
Yes,
good team before that 4-game losing streak. They were
and
they were
before
7-2, 7-4, 7-3 before that 4-game losing streak.
right, and before this win, they were under 500. They were seven and
Yeah,
six, so
yeah,
that made them
6-7,
500. 6
6-7.
and 7, right?
Yeah,
They were six
yeah,
and seven,
yeah,
and don't forget the Raiders went there and beat them 40-34. So uh,
yeah. I
I'm
I,
sorry. I'm
I hear
sorry. No,
you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That wasn't the
So,
Raiders. That wasn't the Raiders. That was last year. That was last year.
that was last year. Okay, so who you got with
The Rams.
who
The
you
Rams
got to
beat
rid of the
30 to
division,
30.
man?
Okay, let me go back to that.
we got
Yes,
before
yes,
we got
I got
distracted.
sidetracked. I got sidetracked a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to say that, like I said, if Kyler Murray can whip up that team
That's
and somehow they can limping Eagles team, if a limping Eagle, they are limping right now. There's no way you can say they're not limping.
they are limping,
Okay,
but stop
they
it.
got smashed twice in a row and then lose to Seattle. I don't care. That's not good at all. 3 games losing streak. You get fat off of the Giants, and then you slip up and you let
So
the Cardinals come and beat you, which can happen. I'm telling you.
so
Just like
so so you
mhm,
telling me the Cowboys are going to win this division?
I'm saying, if they lose to the Cardinals, the Cowboys will win the division. If they lose, but I'm going to go with you.
Stop it, man.
Yes, I'm telling you. Because 2 weeks ago you just said stop it about losing to Seattle.
Look. I'm gonna say the Eagles are going to win this division, not because of the Eagles' schedule, which I think is but easy. They got the Giants twice and the Eagles. It's no
Mhm.
way they losing to those 3 teams, and they play the Cardinals. I'm sorry, they play the Giants twice and the Cardinals, and plus they
Yeah.
play the Cardinals in Philadelphia. They got 2 home
Yep.
games against the Giants and Cardinals coming up, and then they play in New York the last game of the season. They're going to win all 3 of those games, but that's not why I'm saying it. I'm saying they're going to win the division because the Cowboys play the Dolphins and Lions the next 2 games. You're going to lose one of those games. You're losing one of those games. Period.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
you play, then you play the, you play the Commanders the last game of the season, and that's their Super Bowl. They probably going to beat you. That's their Super Bowl. They play their best against y'all. And and
Uh, they
and
play their best against us. You forgot what they just did. What we just did to them. but okay.
Come on, that's their Super Bowl.
Well, it wasn't a Super Bowl when they came to Dallas. We put 40 on them. I mean,
Eh,
come on. What are you
You know
talking about?
they get up for the Cowboys. They gonna be ready to play it. They might sneak one in. So I'm basically saying the Eagles are gonna win this division. The Cowboys are gonna be the wild card. They actually clinched the
Okay.
playoff spot.
Okay.
Cowboys are gonna be the division. I mean the wild card here. Now, as
Okay.
far as let's go to NFC North. NFC North, because the only thing two teams are coming out of the East. Because the
Yeah. Only two
Giants,
coming out the East.
yeah, two coming out the East. All right. So out of the North, we're going Detroit's gonna win this division. Detroit plays the Vikings next.
Yeah.
This if Detroit wins this game against the Vikings, they win the division.
I mean, they have to lose out to lose the division.
Yeah, they have
Not,
to lose out. And
yeah.
losing out, they play the Vikings twice. So yeah, if they lose to the Vikings twice, yeah, the Vikings got a good shot of winning the division. But that ain't happening. The Vikings don't even know who their quarterback is. So I think Detroit's going to win this division.
Yeah. I agree with that. They're going to win that division for
They're
sure.
going to win that division. And
Yep.
so moving to the and I don't know. I don't know. I don't think the Vikings are going to make the wild card. So we're going to move past that. NFC South.
Mm,
You think the Vikings got a good shot of winning the getting the wild card spot?
I mean, they've been competing. I can't like dismiss that they've been competing.
Yeah, but
Um,
really?
yeah, I mean, they've been having some very close little like one score type games like lately. They won 3-0 against the Raiders, which is
I didn't
ridiculous.
even know this was going to be a debate with you. Really? You think the Vikings might get the wild card spot?
Yeah, who are they competing against?
I
I
mean,
mean,
they got the Lions twice.
yeah, but the Lions are going to win the division, right? Either
Yeah.
Dallas or what's called. So it's two wild card spots left, right?
There are going to be two more wild card spots left. Yes.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
I think
Uh,
the two wild cards. Well, I mean, we'll get to it because I think one of
okay,
the
yeah, let's
wild
go.
cards.
Let's go to divisions first.
Let's go to the division. I mean, unless you're saying you think the Vikings are going to get one of the wild card spots, that's fine.
Yep.
You think the Vikings are going to get one of those wild card spots?
I
Okay.
think they're going to get one of the wild card spots. Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's go to the NFC South. Right now, the Saints and the Bucks are tied at 7-7, but the Bucks beat the Saints early in the season, so the Bucks are leading the division. Now, with that said, this is why I believe the Bucks are going to win the division. It hurts my heart to say it, but I mean, the Saints play the Rams next, and the Bucks play the who is it? It's not the Dolphins. It's the
You talk
Jags. They
about who
play
the
the
Bucks play?
Jags.
Yeah.
The Bucks play
Hmm.
the Jags next.
Yep.
That's not
Yep.
the game I'm worried about, right? The
Okay.
Saints and the Bucks play each other on
The
December
weekend.
31st, the week
Yeah.
after.
Christmas
So
Eve. Yeah. I mean New
that
Year's Eve. New Year's Eve.
New Year's
Sorry.
Eve. So that'll decide who wins the division. But this game is in Tampa.
Yes.
It's in Tampa. So it's going to be really hard for the Saints to win this game. And I think that's the game that they may lose to the Bucks. And then the Bucks got the Panthers the last game of the season.
Yes. And the Panthers at that time will probably be on chill mode.
Oh, they're going to be trying to tie up that number. Well, you know what? They're probably not because they don't need that number one spot. They already given it away to Chicago.
Yep. Yep. They don't have number one pick. First round
Right.
pick for them.
No first round pick. So,
Um, Considering that the Saints already the Buccaneers already beat you guys in
mhm,
in New Orleans. I would say that the Buccaneers had an upper hand on that. You're right, and I think
mhm.
they're probably going to win the division. And plus, they have that easy game at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, they're probably going to win that division.
That's what I'm thinking. I think they're going to end up winning the division. So, and I'm not sure. I mean, based on the fact that the Saints play the Rams and then they play the Bucks, that could potentially be two straight losses to close out. Two straight losses. Then you got the Falcons the last game of the season. So we can end these last three games 1-3 and end the season 8-9, which is not good. And I don't think that's enough to make the playoffs. So next,
Mm.
this is the crazy part about it. I think there's going to be three teams that come out of the NFC West. I think the
Mm.
49ers already won the division. So the 49ers are going to the playoffs.
Yep.
Then you got the Rams at 7-7. If they beat the Saints Thursday night, well, that gives them the head-to-head uh, matchup over the Saints because they beat them.
Hmm.
So that essentially gives them the wild card over the Saints. So I think the Rams get in there. Then you got the Seahawks. Seahawks are also 7-7, and Geno could have actually played in this game uh, last night, but
Yeah, he tried before the game started and couldn't go.
yeah, but they said he could have played. He was the backup. They just didn't want to aggravate his injury, which I thought was
Hmm.
a smart move by them because Lock, keep calling him Lock
Right.
has been a starter before, so I think it was a smart move. It's not like he's a bad quarterback with no experience. So I thought he played well. But I think the Seahawks are going to have a good shot of making the playoffs and taking that final wild card spot, considering they have the Titans, Steelers, and Cardinals to end the season.
Yeah, yeah. Um, that's the wild card. Is it going to be them or the Vikings?
Right.
And I mean, or the Saints. I mean, y'all
Yeah.
all have 7 records
Right.
right now. You know, the Vikings are pushing the Packers down. They still have them on the schedule. Still had the Packers on the schedule. And they already beat them once.
Right.
Um,
But I mean, right now the Vikings hold the sixth spot, but the Vikings play the Lions twice.
right, right. Wait a minute. Got left on the schedule?
Yeah, they play the Lions
Oh yeah, they play
twice.
them twice. Right, the Lions, the Packers, and the Lions. Right,
Yeah, Packers
right,
and
right,
Lions.
right,
And
right.
the Lions just need one win against the Vikings, and they close
Yeah,
out
and
this
that's what I'm
division.
saying. I don't think that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if that game is going to matter for the Lions. Uh, if they get one of those wins, if they beat Dallas or they beat the Vikings once, that game is not going to matter. Actually, it might not matter right now because they're already 3 games up on Vikings.
Yeah, but they just need one win, and expect
Yeah,
if
one win
especially
to clinch.
yeah,
Right.
one win
But that's what I'm
to
saying.
clinch.
One of those games might not matter. So they might sit players on that last game and
Right,
might give the game to the Vikings.
that's possible. But once they play this next game against the Vikings, if they beat
Yeah.
the Vikings, which I think they're going to beat the brakes off of them, they win the division. So they're motivated in this next game against the Vikings. And
Yeah. I mean,
the Vikings going to come out there with is it Mullins? I forget who the quarterback is now. I mean,
Bethard.
is it Bether? No,
I think is it Bethard or you might be right. Yeah, I think you're right. Mullins.
I think it's Mullins. Mullins played against the Bengals.
Right,
So
right.
do you want to put your fate in whoever the quarterback is for the Vikings, who we don't know who it might be?
I mean, you just said the same thing with Seattle. That's the argument I just had with Seattle. But and it's the same argument. This is a veteran quarterback who started in the league before. Same exact
Mullins?
argument you made. Yes, he started for San Francisco before.
Oh, I may have forgotten about
He hasn't
that.
started like he hasn't started like a season, but
And
you know
then
he started a few games for.
if you want to compare that to Locke,
Yeah, Locke ain't did a whole lot in Denver. He didn't get a
no, he
chance.
didn't. He didn't. But he started the season, so I don't know. We're splitting hairs here.
Yeah, I think he got benched. But I mean,
Yeah.
look, they're at home. It's a divisional game. I've seen the Lions falter and have some bad games against teams that you quote unquote don't think that they should lose against. It's happened. It really depends on what Lions team gonna show up.
Yeah.
It really, but
I think they're gonna be motivated in this game.
they should be. They really should be motivated, and they should win this game. But I think the Vikings can beat the Packers at home and then have that last game with the
Hmm.
Lions. It's not going to matter anything to the Lions at that point. They're already going
Hmm.
to have a division. So woof, that could be the deciding factor right there. That last game. We're
Yeah.
gonna put this one up. We're gonna clip this one up. And I think that last game against the Lions, where the Lions might sit everybody, is going to be a deciding factor on who's going to make that last wild card spot.
Yeah. I honestly I think it's gonna be over for the Vikings after the game against the Packers. I think the Vikings are gonna lose these last three games of the season. I don't think they have a snowball chance in hell. I think the wild card spots are between the Seahawks, Rams, and Saints and Bucks. Depends on who wins the division in the South.
Well, it's only one of those because
Right. It's one of those two, but right. It's
one of them.
between three teams. To me, the Vikings aren't in. Even though they're holding the sixth spot, I don't think they'll. they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to lose 3 straight.
I mean, you don't think they could beat the Packers at home?
Nope. Nope.
Wow.
Nope. Not with
Believe it.
Mullins. No.
Believe it. I mean, they went and beat the Raiders at in LA. I mean, in Vegas
3
with
nothing?
yeah, that's a win.
Man, stop it.
It's a win. Is it not a win?
It's a win, but still, it's how you win sometimes. So,
Okay, it's a
all right,
win.
man. Let's move on to the AFC. Now, this is much harder to figure out here.
And let's not forget also, they did go to overtime with the Bengals. They just did that.
The,
Let's not
the,
forget.
the Bengals backup quarterback too.
Yeah, Brown have been playing good
He,
though.
he has, and it was a good fight. It was a high scoring game. So yeah, we will
Yeah.
see.
See.
I don't believe in the Vikings. Not anymore. I thought
Okay.
Josh Dobbs had something going, but I think his Cinderella slipper finally came off. And yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So
And
anyway,
don't
all
forget.
right.
Oh, and Jefferson came back too. By the way.
Yeah,
But
he
come on.
did. He did. That helps.
Yep.
Let's talk about this AFC, man. I want to get to this because this is a tight race in the AFC. I think the division winners are pretty much decided. Well, other than the AFC South, but yeah, I think everything else is pretty much close to being decided. So let's start with the AFC East. So we got the Dolphins and the Bills fighting it out for the division here. Right now, the Dolphins have they're 10-4, and the Bills with their big win over the Cowboys are 8-6. So they're still in it for the division.
Yep.
So
Still in it, and they got a win over over the Dolphins already.
right.
You know,
So
and they
and then
beat
they
them
play
pretty
again,
handily too.
and they
Yep, and they
play
play
again
at the
at the
end of
end
the
of the
season.
season.
Yep, the
But
last game of the season.
last game of the season. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. So, but the Dolphins play y'all next.
Yes, this is a
Yeah,
big game for them. Well,
yeah.
plus too.
But
Uh,
but but not only that, the Dolphins got y'all big game for the Cowboys, but they
yep,
also play the Ravens right after that and the
yep.
Bills. So
They have a
3 straight.
tough. They have a very tough end of their schedule, just
Yeah,
like. Yep,
and and and
absolutely.
and it is Tyreek Hill playing.
Right. And meanwhile, the Bills have the Chargers and the Patriots coming up.
Yep. So yeah, and you know what? I can't say that this division has been decided.
Oh, it's not locked for sure.
No, you're right about that. But I'm still going with the Dolphins winning this division. I
Well, if whew, see this is the thing. So they're 2 games away. The
mhm.
Dolphins have to lose one game. They only have
Right,
to lose one game because then the Bills will hold their destiny in their own hand later.
right,
Hey,
right. With the last game.
yeah, yeah, and considering the Dolphins just lost to the Titans, they could lose to anybody.
Yeah, but I'll put it like this: since this last game, which I think is going to be a meaningful game at the end of the season to decide this
Yeah,
division, this last game is in Miami.
yeah,
I think that gives them the edge. I think the Dolphins win this division, but I think the Bills make the wild card because the Bills they're gonna win 10 games. Their next 2 games, what? Chargers and one other
it's the
uh
Chargers and the Patriots.
and the Patriots. Yeah, 2 pathetic teams. That should be 2 wins. That should give them 10 wins on the season. That should be enough to make the playoffs. But that last game of the season is going to decide the division. So I think they're going
Yes,
to be motivated and play it.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're winning the next 2 games,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
they'll be right there. So that's going to be yeah, like you said. That I'll go get 2 out of that division for sure.
Okay, 2 out of that division. All right. Next, we already know who the division winner is. The Ravens are 11-3. They've already won the division. So it's a matter of whether or not we believe the Browns, Bengals, and Steelers will make the wild card. So Browns are 9-5, Bengals are 8-6, Steelers are 7-7. I don't think the Steelers are going to make it. They're going to fall short.
No. Yes,
But
they're the loser out of that bunch.
right, they'll lose out of that bunch. But I think the Browns are going to make the playoffs. I think this is a very interesting story with Joe Flacco taking over at quarterback.
Yeah, and looking pretty good too.
Ugh,
He's not looking bad at all.
right, right. Threw for 374 yards against the Bears and a comeback victory. That's
Yes,
impressive. That's
yes,
impressive.
and I think he threw for like 300 yards against the Rams too.
Yeah, yeah. And
I believe so when they played the Rams.
Yeah, I think so. Matter of fact, let me look it up right quick. The Rams, he threw for 254, but he threw for
250.
311 against the Jags. That was the
That's
game
what
before the
against
Bears.
the Jags. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy because Joe Flacco, he got an extra 75,000 for the win over the Bears. That was part of his contract. So this
Wow.
could be a resurgence for Joe Flacco. I don't know what this means for Deshaun Watson, but yeah, man, this is a remarkable story. But I got
Yeah,
the
it's showing
Browns
that
making
they
the
had a
playoffs.
solid team. Yeah, it's showing you
Yeah,
that they had a solid team there, and they just need a basically a game manager.
yeah, yeah. So the question is whether or not, with one wild card spot available, do the Bengals and Steelers get that last wild card spot? I don't think so.
Mm.
I would say no.
It's so close that log jam right there with the Colts, the Texans, and the Bengals
Hmm.
and Steelers is so close. I mean, like you said, the Steelers is out of there. I mean the Browns and the Bengals.
Yeah.
It is so close.
Hmm.
I'm just going to say the Browns are in there for one of those spots. It's three
Me,
spots out of the divisions, right?
right. Yep.
So, so I'm
And
going to
the
say
and the Bills already got. We already said the Bills are going to get one.
right. The Bills are going to get one. The Bills are going to get one. Let's say that. Then number two, and the I mean the Broncos still aren't out of play.
No, they're not.
they,
They're not.
they still aren't out of play. But I would say that the Browns are going to take at least one of those.
Hmm.
That's the second one. The third one, oh boy, I'm going to have to say the Bengals. They're playing the
You think the
best right now.
Bengals are really
I
okay?
think they're playing the best football of all of those remaining teams between the Colts, between the Broncos, and the Raiders.
Here's why I say the Bengals will not make it. And I'm gonna surprise you with my pick on who I think is gonna make that final playoff spot. And I'm gonna say it just because we're having that discussion. I'm gonna talk about it
Mm,
right now.
all right.
The Bengals end the season against the Steelers, which I think they'll win that game, but they got the Chiefs and the Browns to close out the season. I think they're losing those last two games. And
The
I think
Chiefs
that,
and the Browns.
yeah, that makes them 9-8. And I think, and here's the catcher. Here's the kicker here. I think that last playoff spot goes to the Denver Broncos. I think the Denver Broncos finish the season on a 3-game winning streak and take that
Mhm.
last playoff spot because they have the Patriots, Chargers, and Raiders to close out the season. And they play the Patriots and Chargers at home. And the last game
Yeah.
against the Raiders is in Vegas. And hey, the Raiders might not be playing for anything at that time. I don't think the Raiders will be playing for anything. They're still in it, but I don't think they're gonna. They'll be out of it by then.
Well, I think they're playing for their coach. I
They
don't
are,
think they're gonna quit. You know
and
what I'm
I
saying?
hope he gets the job.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. I hope they get that too. They might want to end the season off on a good note so they can hire
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
If possible. It's divisional, you know.
But they play the Chiefs next. Then they play the Colts. I think they lose those last two games, and
Yeah.
then they got the Broncos last. And I think
Mm, yeah.
yeah, I think it's just going to be too much for them. And I think the Broncos get that last playoff spot. So, and that's over. So let's go to the next division, the AFC South, right? So we got the Jags, Colts, and Texans tied
All
at
locked
eight
in
and
at
six,
86. Yep.
all 8-6. Um, Titans already eliminated. So who wins that division?
Oof.
Yeah, that's
By
tough.
default, I'm going to say the Jaguars, but it's not certain. I mean, the way they look, that is definitely not certain. But I
Well,
would say the Jaguars only on the fact that they got a veteran, quote unquote, supposed to be good quarterback.
well,
So
here, I'll help your decision because this is why I'm going with the Jags. Their last three games, their last three opponents,
mhm,
Bucks, Panthers, Titans. Now, tell me who you
mhm.
think is going to win this division.
Well, they're going to win three. Well, it looks like on paper. On paper.
On
Now,
paper,
I'm not giving them no bucks. Okay, I'm not
okay,
giving them the
that's
bucks.
fair.
That's in state. I'm not gonna give them the bucks.
Uh,
That Mayfield's that Baker
Baker
Mayfield's
Field.
actually been good right now.
Yeah, yep.
So I'm not going to give them that game. I'm
Okay,
definitely not giving them. So at least 2 out of 3 they'll win.
right, right. I agree with you. I agree. The Bucks won't be a pushover,
Yeah,
but
definitely not.
but
And then the Colts, they play the Raiders and the
yeah,
Texans, so that's gonna be interdivisional, and that's
right.
gonna be a big game.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
And then they
well,
have the Falcons is the other game, but they
right.
playing at Atlanta.
So they got a good shot of winning this division over the Jags.
Ooh, the Colts.
The Colts got a good shot of winning. I think the Texans are done. I think Texas is done. They got to play the Browns next. They get a break with the Titans, and then they end the season with the Colts. So I think this division is up between the Colts and the Jags.
Mm.
I'm gonna go with the Jags because of Trevor Lawrence. I don't believe in
I'm
Gardner Minshew.
yes, I'm definitely going with the Jaguars for the division. Um, I already said the Bengals will take the last slot, so that means that none of the Colts or the Texans make it, right?
Right.
Uh,
Right.
one, two, wait a minute.
Yeah.
One,
That,
two,
that,
three, right,
that'll
because
be
the Browns and the Bengals.
the
So that'd be
Browns and the
three coming
Bengals.
out of the East.
Yeah.
Right, that'd be three coming out of the North.
Yeah. See, I don't have the Bengals making it. I got the Browns and the Bills having two of the spots, and then going to the AFC West, I got the Chiefs winning the division, and I got the Broncos winning three straight, ending
Mm,
the season 10-7. This is truly remarkable after losing 70-20 to the Dolphins. At the beginning of the season, losing three straight, and somehow win 10 games to finish the season with 10 wins. I think that'd be truly remarkable. And I think the Broncos are going to do it and get that last playoff spot.
yes, if this serves me right, didn't they start off 0-5?
No, they started off 1-5.
1-5. Okay, they
One
started
and
off one
five.
and five.
They
Okay.
lost three straight to start the season, and then they were blown out by the Dolphins 70-20 before they
Yeah,
finally got
only
a
team
win against
right.
the
The only team
Bears.
they beat in them first five in them first six games was the Broncos.
N-
Or was the Bears.
Bears. It was the Bears. And then they
Right.
went on a 5-game winning streak. So,
Well, they lost to the Chiefs and then they won after that. Yeah.
yeah,
So they lost to the Chiefs first in Kansas City and then went on 5 game
Well,
win
they
streak.
lost to the Jets and the Chiefs, and then they went on a 5-game winning streak, and then they lost
Hmm.
to the Texans, beat the Chargers. Everybody beats the Chargers, and then they were blown out last week by the Lions.
Yep.
But I
Yep.
think they get a break. They got the Patriots, Chargers, and Raiders. The Raiders probably won't be much of a break, but I think they could beat the Raiders.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. That's definitely gonna
Yeah.
be interesting. Yeah, and the NFL drew this schedule up good
Oh
where
yeah.
these
Yeah.
last games definitely gonna matter.
And you got to love how the NFL does this by putting the divisional games at the end of the season because that
Absolutely.
that helps. I mean, even though they put the Broncos against the Raiders, which the Raiders
They
aren't
can't
playing
help
for anything, but all
yeah.
the other teams playing each other at the end of the seasons, and I mean that really plays out for the good drama in this league. And I'll be watching it closely, man. I want to see how this all turns out. I'll be watching every game.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is going to be an entertaining end of the season, down to the very last game for sure.
Thanks for joining us again. We do this thing every week. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.